A happy morning to one and all. Or I would also say happy day sounds better, isn't it, to one and all. Today we are going to ponder on lesson 10, that's the body movements. Let's begin with the instructions. Okay, body movements, let's begin with the introduction. There are constant internal and external movements in our body. Recall and count the movements and that happened in your body in the first 1 hour after you woke up. For example, you got out of the bed, you were breathing, your eyes were blinking, and so on. Now, on this thing, I would really like to, self-thinking or self-imagination, just going back and just thinking about it. It is going to be a lovely process. Please do it. Okay? The body and its movements. How do we identify a living organism? One of the characteristics of the living organism is that they breathe and show movements. The plants cannot move from one place to another. They show movements of growth, formation of leaves, flowers and fruits. Plants also bend towards light. Animals move from one place to another. What causes the body to move? When you pick up a book from the floor, your body and hands move. The bones and the muscles of the body work in coordination to help in its movement. An organism becomes complex or multicellular. It needs support its body structure. It needs to support its body structure. This too is done by the skeletal and muscular tissue system. Let's see what is the skeletal system. The structure made of all bones in the body of a person or an animal is known as the skeleton. Feel the fingers of your hands. Do you feel something hard? This hard, non-flexible part is the bone. A bone is a tissue which provides support and gives a shape to a living organism. Now feel your nose and your external ear. You will feel something softer than the bones inside them. They have another tissue called the cartilage inside them. Cartilage is a strong, elastic substance found where two bones connect in the human body. Both bones and cartilage form the skeletal system. Activity 1. Do all animals have bones in their body? Find the names of animals that do not have bones. How do these animals move? The role of bones. Bones provide a framework to the body and form the basic body structure. They give shape and support to the body. Think of the various organs of the body like the brain, stomach and heart. These organs are present inside the skeleton. If the skeleton did not exist, these organs would be damaged easily. Thus, bones protect the body and its delicate organs. Bones are mainly made up of calcium and phosphorus. Production of blood cells take place in the soft and spongy bone marrow present in the bones. Bones, along with the muscles and joints, help the body move. Would you be able to write if the finger did not bend? Try walking without bending your knees. Is it possible? The human body has 206 bones. A skeleton consists of the following parts, that is the skull, backbone, rib cage, girdles and limb bones. Now let's have a look at the bones in the human skeleton before we proceed further. Okay, this is the fibula, tibia, tarsus, metatarsus, phalanges, patella, which is also the kneecap, femur, this is the longest bone, okay, phalanges, metacarpals, carpals, ulna, radius, this is the rib, sternum, mandible, cranium, clavicle, that's a collarbone, scapula, shoulder blade, humerus, spine, pelvis, and that is the hip bone. Okay, now that is in short the bones in the human skeleton. Now let's proceed further. We are going to go to the skull. Okay, this is the cranium, this is the eye orbit, this is the nasal cavity, these are the teeth, and this is the mandible. The skull is the most important structure in our skeleton, especially considering that it houses our brain. Our skull provides the framework for more of our sensory organs, for most of our sensory organs, such as eyes, ears, tongue, and nose. Our skull is made up of 22 cranial and facial bones. The part of the skull which is hard box-like case in which the brain lies is the brain box or cranium. It is made of several flat bones joined together. These joints cannot move. While we speak, the lower jaw bone attached to the skull moves. The lower jaw is the only movable bone of our skull. It is also called the mandible. Now coming to the backbone, there are a series of bones down the center of our back which support the weight and the structure of our body. This is the backbone. Alright, this is the backbone. The backbone is also known as the vertebral column or the spine. It is not a simple bone but is made up of 33 small bones called vertebrae. The backbone, though called a bone, is really a flexible structure made of 33 small bones called vertebrae. The backbone serves several important functions. It allows humans to stand upright and maintain their balance. It helps to support the head and the arms and provides attachment for many muscles, the ribs, and few organs. It protects the spinal cord. Now from the backbone we move to the rib cage. A rib cage is formed of flat long bones. It consists of a bone in the front called the sternum and 12 pairs of long bones called ribs that attach the backbone to the sternum. The rib cage is located in the chest region. The rib cage is divided into 3 categories. The first 7 bones are called true ribs. These bones are connected to the spine, that is the backbone at the back. The next 3 pairs of bones are called false ribs. These bones are slightly shorter than the true ribs and are connected to the spine at the back. However, instead of being attached directly to the sternum in the front, the false ribs are attached to the lowest true rib. The last 2 sets of rib bones are called floating ribs. Floating ribs are smaller than both the true ribs and the false ribs. They are attached to the spine at the back but are not connected to anything in the front. This helps in breathing and also protects the internal organs in the chest cavity like the heart and the lungs. Okay, this is the rib cage. This is a vertebral column. This is the sternum. These are the ribs and these are the floating ribs. Now let's see what this do you know have for us. The hyoid bone in our throat is the only bone in the body which is not attached to any other bone. This is great information, kids. Now let's move further to the girdles and limb bones. There are 2 girdles in our body. They are the pectoral girdle and the pelvic girdle. The pectoral girdle consists of 2 major bones, the shoulder blade and the collarbone. They form the shoulder. The joints of the shoulder blade form sockets in which the bones of the forearms fit and connect. This is the pectoral girdle. This is the collarbone. These are the shoulder blades. Okay, and this is the pelvic girdle. Okay, in the pelvic girdle, the ilium, pubis, and ischium form the coxal bones. This is the femur, patella, fibula, tibia, and the phalanges and the tarsals together form the metatarsals. This is the pelvic girdle. All right. Now let's see here. Three fused bones form the pelvic girdle. Which are the three fused bones? That is the ilium, the pubis, and the ischium. The fused bones form the pelvic girdle. The pelvic girdle forms a big bowl-like structure. The thigh bones are connected to the sockets of the joint in which the hip bone. A hand consists of a long bone which connects with the pectoral girdle. While the forearm has two long bones, the wrist and the palm are made of several bones. Each finger has 3 bones except for the thumb, which has only 2 bones. Legs have a similar structure as hands. The thigh bone is the longest bone of the body and is attached to the pelvic girdle. The lower leg is made up of 2 long bones. Ankles are made of many small bones. The foot has 5 longer bones. Each toe has 3 smaller bones except for the big toe, which has only 2 bones. Now this activity, wherein the complete the table with the help of your teacher. This activity we will be doing in class. Okay. Now bones in the hand and foot. These are the digits. This is the palm and this is the wrist. In the foot we have the ankle, the instep and the digits here. Okay. Now let's move further. Joints. You know joints. You now know what kind of bones form the skeletal system. Let us now see how these bones help us to move. Observe the human body when it moves while walking on a pavement, kicking a ball, bowling a cricket ball, or batting and writing. You will realize that none of these movements would be possible if there was only one bone in the arm or the leg. Parts of the body are made up of different bones which provide flexibility and make movements easier. Bending and rotating body parts make the movement of the body feasible. This is because different parts are made of more than one bone which seem to be joined. This place of contact between 2 bones is called a joint. Find out whether all the bones of the body move or bend. Are there any parts which do not move? All bones cannot bend. Moreover, all bones cannot bend in all directions. You would observe that different movements are done by different kinds of bones and joints. Thus, the direction, the angle, and the amount of rotation is regulated by the kind of joint present. There are different types of joints in our body. Now, ball and socket joint is present in the shoulder. The hinge joint is in the elbow. The upper arm has the pivot joint. Upper arm and wrist also have the gliding joint. Okay, so these are the various joints. Now this activity will be done in class. Now let's go to the ball and socket joints. The ball and the socket joints are present in the shoulder and hip. They move in all directions. Like over here, okay, working of the ball and socket joint. Take any bottle with a curved bottom, circular, and cut the bottle at the base to get a cup-like shape. Fill the cup with clay. Then take a rod and stick and push it in the clay and rotate it. Leave it for some time. You will see that the stick can rotate through an angle of 360 degrees. That is a full circle in different directions. Similar kind of movements are seen at the point where the arm joins the shoulder and where the leg joins the hip. These joints are called the ball and socket joints. Okay, as in your pivot joints. Observe the movement of your neck. The joint here allows you to bend the head back forward and turn the head to the right or to the left, as in figure 10-11. The joint allows the movement in all directions in a ring. Such a joint is called a pivot joint. Hinge joints. Open and close a door. You will see that the door does not move beyond 180 degrees, just like the hinge joints, as in 10-12, working of the hinge joint. The hinge joint allows the movement of bones in only one place. Observe the movement of your knee and elbow. Is there any similarity between the movement of the knee and the elbow? Both these joints allow movement of the forearm and lower leg through an angle of 0 to 180 degrees in one plane only. Such a joint is called a hinge joint. Now let's move further to the fixed joints. Feel your head. The skull is not made up of one bone but several bones which are joined together. However, these joints cannot move. Such immovable joints are called fixed joints. These are the bones of the human skull. These are the fixed joints of the human skull. Got it? These are the fixed joints. Lower jaw bone, only movable bone in the skull is the lower jaw bone. Now let's see what this do you know has in store for us. The bone that is broken most often is the collarbone. The scientific name for the collarbone is clavicle. What is the scientific name for the collarbone? It is clavicle. Okay, children? Now, X-rays. We know that our body is made up of bones. When we fall and have a fracture that is broken, a broken bone, or when we displace bone, how does a doctor come to know which bone is broken or displaced? It's because of the X-ray. Okay, now let's see the activity here. Collect X-rays of different parts of the body. Maybe the arm of or the leg. Try and correlate the joints and bone present in that part of the body. Which part of the body does this X-ray show? How many bones can you see? Label all the parts. Now this is your activity and you're going to do it and you're going to show it. Okay. Have you heard X-rays? These rays are able to pass through the bones. These rays can pass through the muscle and skin of our body. When a part of the body is exposed to X-rays, these rays pass through layers of skin and muscle and form an image on the photographic film. Since these rays are unable to pass through the bones, an image of the bone or bones appear on the film. Now we go to the cartilage. Cartilage is soft and can bend. It is present in the ear and the nose region. Cartilage is also found in the joints of the body. They help in movement and also reduce the pressure on the bones during jerky movements. They prevent the wear and tear of the joints. Now this is the activity 5. Find out the various places where cartilage is found in our body. Is cartilage found in other organisms as well? From the cartilage, now this is the activity which you are going to do and you are going to find out. Now further, we move to the muscles. When one rotates the hand or bends it, the bones at the joints come close or move around. What causes these movements? Try closing your fist hard and then folding your arms towards the shoulder. Or try breathing in and out with force and observe your chest and abdomen. The swollen regions in your arms and the abdomens are the muscles. These are the tissues that help in contraction. When you bring the arm back in the straight position, they relax. Thus, the movement of the bones are brought about by the contraction and relaxation of muscles, as in figure 10:17. If you observe the movements of your arms, you will notice that when you fold your arm at the elbow, you will feel a stretch on one side and a bulge in the other side. Thus, one muscle contracts to pull the bone, forming the bulge, while the other muscle stretches on the other side. Thus, muscles work in pairs to bring about the movement. See, this is the contraction and the relaxation of muscles in the movement of arms. These are the biceps, contracts and shorten. These are the triceps that relax and lengthen, and these are the triceps that contract, that is shortens. Okay, contracts means what? Shortens. Relaxes means lengthens. Okay. Now we go to do you know? Let's see what it has in store for us. The human hand has 27 bones and the human face has 14 bones. Human beings and giraffes have the same number of bones in their necks. Now this is news, isn't it? The vertebrae in a giraffe's neck are just much longer. Human beings have over 230 movable and semi-movable joints in their body. Movement in other animals. Have you seen the earthworm moving and a snake slithering? Do they move with the help of bones and muscles? Let us find out how some other animals move. Earthworm. An earthworm does not have a skeleton. It has a cylindrical body which appears to be made of rings. These rings are actually circular muscles. It has bristles on each segment called setae that help the earthworm move. What is each segment called? Setae. Now let's see about Ramchandra Sharma. Great, it's an Indian. Ramchandra Sharma was a traditional craftsman in Jaipur. He was invited by Dr. Shetty to teach art as a therapy to polio victims at a hospital in Jaipur. He watched amputees in the hospital being fitted with impractical, expensive and imported artificial limbs. This inspired him to create a foot made of vulcanized rubber hinged to a wooden limb in 1968. This artificial limb came to be known as Jaipur foot. Today, people from all over the world use the Jaipur foot. What do people from all over the world use today? They use the Jaipur foot. Now this is great and we are proud to be Indians. Now coming back to the earthworms, they have no limbs. An earthworm has two sets of muscles. One that makes it long and thin and the other that makes it fat. The contraction and relaxation of these muscles help in the movement. At first, the front part of the body extends forward and attaches to the ground. The rear end, which is fixed, releases itself and the forward end contracts, moving the earthworm's body ahead. Now we move further to the snail. A snail has a shell over its body. They are soft-bodied and do not have any bones. When a snail moves, a muscular foot comes outside and attaches to the ground. It contracts to form a wave-like motion and the snail moves forward. If you observe the movement of a snail, you will see that the trail of moisture is left behind. What role do you think this plays? The foot of the snail has a special gland that produces slimy mucus to make a slippery track to be able to move smoothly. Now from the snail, See, this is a snail and its muscular foot, children. Okay. Now from the snail, we move to the cockroach. This is the skeletal system of the cockroach. A cockroach can walk, jump as well as fly. For me, they are very eerie creatures. I just can't stand cockroaches. It has 3 pairs of joint legs. It has a body covered with hard covering or the outside skeleton. It is a hard jointed external covering that encloses the muscles and organs of the insect. As you can see that in figure 1019. Okay, you can see that in figure 1019. It has several joints which are supported by muscles, helping in movement. Arising from this upper part of the body is a pair of wings. These help in flying. The muscles of a cockroach also coordinate movements of their wings and legs. Now let's go further. Now let's see about the birds. The skeletal system of birds has many adaptations for flight. Okay, this is the bird and this is the skeletal system of the bird. Their bones are hollow and they are often short and fused to decrease their weight. Birds have 28 flexible vertebrae in the whole backbone. Their neck especially has very flexible vertebrae. Birds walk or hop on their toes when on the ground. The toes of a bird can be long and slender, webbed with long claws called talons. They can also be partially webbed or of medium length that are adapted for perching. The muscles and tendons in the legs and feet of birds are adapted to move the toes so that they can grasp onto a perch for a long time. That's how they can perch for a long time. Did you get it, children? Now let's move further. Birds show 2 types of locomotion. They have a pair of legs or hind limbs. These are used for walking, hopping or wading in water. For flying, they use a pair of wings. Wings are modified forelimbs. Birds also have other aerial modifications that help them to fly. Their bodies are streamlined. Their light and hollow bones are attached to the well-developed flight muscles which help in flapping of wings while flying. From birds, let's move on to the fish. A fish has an inner skeleton. It has 2 sets of fins, the pectoral fins that are near the head and the pelvic fins that are further down the body. Along the top of the trunk are the dorsal fins, and the fins towards the back of the rear of the fish are called anal fins. The dorsal and the anal fins are for balance and the others are for movement. Fishes live in water and move in it. Just as the body of a boat is pointed at the 2 ends to prevent friction while moving, fishes have a boat-like or streamlined body. This helps the fish to swim easily in water. The skeleton of a fish is covered with strong muscles. The muscles contract to change the body shape to reduce resistance. While swimming, the muscles in the front contract, generating a curve on one side like a wave, and the tail swings on the opposite directions, creating water currents that push the fish forward. The movements are enhanced with the pairs of, how are they enhanced? With the pairs of fins present on the body. Okay, so that was about the fish. From the birds we move to the fish, and from the fish we'll go to the snakes. Have you seen a snake move? That is also too creepy. Okay, it slithers on the ground in a wave-like manner. A snake has a long backbone. Each bone is attached with many thin muscles. They are interconnected to the ribs and the skin. The muscles contract, forming loops. The forward push of the loops against the surface helps the snake to move forward. Now let's proceed to the points to remember. Children, I hope you all have enjoyed the lesson, the body movements. It was fun. The snakes, what you can say, moving in a wave-like manner. Then we had the fish swimming, the birds flying. Okay, it was interesting. The earthworms also, their movements we learned, and then about the very, what you can say, those scary cockroaches, and then of course human beings, wasn't it? And little bit, though the plants don't move, we also learned about them. Okay, now bones provide a framework to the body and form the basic body structure. The skeletal system is made up of several bones and girdles. The major girdles present in the human body are the pectoral and the pelvic. Joints, muscles and bones together bring about the movements in the human body. Joints are classified as fixed and movable joints. The joints of the human skull are fixed joints except for the lower jaw. The ball and the socket joint, hinge joint and the pivot joints are the movable joints. Cartilage is softer than bones and prevents the wear and the tear of bones. Earthworms move by shortening and lengthening their bodies. Snails use a muscular foot for movement. Cockroaches have 3 pairs of joint legs for movements. Birds have wings, light bones and streamlined body for aerial movement. Snakes use muscles and scales to move. Okay, let's see some important definitions. Skeleton, the structure made of all the bones in our body of a person or an animal. What is a skeleton? The structure made of all the bones in the body of a person or an animal. What is cartilage? Strong, elastic substance found where 2 bones connect in the human body. What is a skull? All of the bones that comprise the head. What is cranium? The part of the skull which is a hard box-like case in which the brain lies. What is a joint? The place of contact between 2 bones. What is a joint? The place of contact between 2 bones. Children, that was the end of the lesson and we had a happy time with the body movements. Will you agree with me? Well, great. Have a great day.